Okay, today I'm going to show you the exact meal plan and diet you can use to go from 25% body fat, if that's where you are, to having abs. So, the client that I'm going to be demonstrating this on is going to be Adrian, because I got a lot of questions about what was his diet in the previous video that I did upload. So, first things first, you're going to have to get your starting position. So with Adrian, he was 180 pounds to start, and we guesstimated that he was around 25% body fat. Again, I'd rather overestimate how much body fat someone has than underestimate. So it's better to be on the safe side, okay? So we just said around 25% body fat. You can see he's carrying a lot of body fat around the lower back, a lot on the chest and stomach region, even a bit on the legs. So he said probably around that 25% body fat, probably has around 15% to come off to get down to a nice lean set point, okay? So what we done first is we went straight onto a calorie calculator, okay? So what I done is I subbed in Adrian's body weight, his age, his height, and his body fat percentage, and then this and his activity level, okay? And it threw me out this number. To maintain weight, he would need 2,600 calories. But before Adrian came to me, he told me that he was already tracking his calories and he was eating around 2,800 calories, but not being very consistent. But again, it doesn't matter really, say, what this number throws out. Well, it does. But let's say typically you'd go into a 500 calorie deficit, as most people would do. But you have to remember, if you're up at 25% body fat, it's going to take you around 16 to 20 weeks to get down to that 10% mark. So you don't want to be shooting yourself in the foot straight away by dropping the calories too quickly, because then when you eventually do hit a plateau and your weight starts to stall, you're not going to have much more runway and you're not going to have many other cards to play, okay? So that's why you want to try to lose as much weight as you can on the highest amount of calories possible, okay? So what I done with Adrian, I went straight from 2,800, it said to 2,600 to maintain his weight, but I just dropped it down to 2,400 calories, okay? So, as I said here again, on the plan to progress, week one is just about following the nutrition plan, getting you into the routine of doing your training sessions. So in this situation, Adrian was training 4 days a week, doing an upper-lower split, getting him hitting them 10,000 steps a day, getting him doing his 15 minutes of cardio daily. We done 15 minutes of cardio daily at the start, okay? Just to get him into that routine. So at that stage, he's eating 2,400 calories, which is still pretty high, going into a fat loss phase. He's hitting his 10,000 steps a day. He's doing his daily cardio, and from there, right off the jump, Adrian was able to start dropping like 1.5 to 2.2 pounds per week, which was the rate of loss we're kind of looking for. We were looking for that 2 pounds per week. So just off the jump, still keeping calories high enough, he was able to start dropping body fat, just as his body was getting used to getting through these calories, okay? So what I done then, I came on and I made him up his meal plan. So this is the exact meal plan we used with Adrian. 2,400 calories, okay? We went 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Again, say if someone was very overweight, like let's say 30% plus body fat, I wouldn't typically use their body weight to guess their protein target, because typically it's 1 gram of protein per lean pound of body weight. In a situation if someone was extremely overweight, like let's say if you're over 30% body fat, I'd go for your height in centimeters. So again, Adrian's 180 centimeters, so that's why I went 180 grams of protein. But to be honest, I'd rather go slightly higher protein, just because it's going to be one of the main macronutrients that's going to help you keep you fuller for longer, okay? So again, on a dieting phase, you don't want hunger to be the issue that causes you to fall off your diet, which will be the case for most men. Like, let's be real, the only reason you're going to cheat in your diet is because you're fucking hungry. So that's why I like to keep protein slightly higher, okay? Now, the main things we're looking for in this diet, anytime I give someone a diet like this, they always come back to me and they say, man, I'm stuffed, I'm eating so much food. And that's only for the reason of, they might have been eating 2,800 calories before, but that would have been coming from foods that weren't very nutrient dense, okay? Just like processed food, shit food, like low in fiber, low protein, and just wasn't very filling at all. So when I put someone on 2,400 calories of nutritious food, high fiber content, high protein, lots of volume in there, they're going to be full. And if you can diet, if you can drop body fat on a weekly basis and you're not hungry, it's going to make it a lot easier for you, okay? So what we done here, first meal of the day went in with protein oats, okay? So 100 grams of oats, 30 grams of whey, 100 grams of berries, and then 25 grams of dark chocolate. This is the meal we went in to start the day. Again, Oats are going to be a nice slow release in energy. Combine that with dark chocolate. The higher percentage of the dark chocolate, the better. Like, you want to go at least 70%, but I'd go all up to 95% sometimes, to be honest with you. Again, having them fats in that meal as well, it's going to slow the digestion down, so it's going to keep you fuller for longer. Again, we're keeping high fiber, high protein, and it's coming from nutrient dense foods. Okay, next up we went with a meal plan as well. What I'm thinking is, I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. Like, I don't want to be honest, I don't want any fancy fucking recipes on here, because if I give you a meal to make that requires like 12 different ingredients, it takes half an hour to cook up, you're probably going to fucking sack it off. So you can say, oh, I like to have nice tasty meals and I like fancy recipes. You're not going to stick to them. Like, right now you're probably buying Tesco meal deals, going to the deli, having takeaways. So let's just keep it simple, okay? If it's simple, the meals are tasty. I'm not saying it's going to be bland and boring. If the meals are tasty, they're easy to make. You can make them in less than 20 minutes. Let's say once you prep up your chicken, this meal probably takes around 5 minutes to make. It's going to make it efficient for you. So what I'm thinking as well, so meal 2 we've got a chicken stir fry. Meal 3 we've got, this is going to be chicken with pasta, okay? Chicken with pasta. And the reason I'm keeping the same, chicken breast, is because if we have the same meat for both meals, it's going to make it easier for you to prep it in advance. Let's say in the morning or the night before, you cook up 2 chicken breasts, bosh. Okay? And even say that you could prep up, like, say 6 chicken breasts and you'd have your meat cooked for the next 3 days. Again, with the rice, you could cook up 3 days worth of rice in one and then dispatch it out. Okay? So we've gone chicken with a stir fry. So chicken, rice, mixed veg, and sriracha. Again, sriracha is going to be a low calorie sauce. Typically I would put in here a low calorie sauce of your choice, and I'd give the options of sugar free ketchup, sriracha, hot sauce, lighter than light mayonnaise, anything like that that is low calorie. You don't want to be going for full fat mayonnaise or sauces that are going to be higher in calorie count, because they're going to fuck your diet, okay? And they're not going to keep you full, okay? So nice tasty sauces but low in calories. Then we've got mixed vegetables. I don't have a specific veg in there just because it's going to be more personal preference. If you like broccoli, peppers, cauliflower, onions, mushrooms, whatever veg you want, 150 grams. That's why I say mixed veg, 150 grams, okay? Keeping it simple. Again, we've got chicken with pasta, with tomato sauce, and then finish the day off with a bit more of a, everyone typically has more of a sweet tooth in the evening. So before bed, for the pre-bed meal, 250 grams of 0% fat Greek yogurt, 20 grams of whey protein, 100 grams of mixed berries, and then 25 grams of dark chocolate again. Now, when you would go to make changes to this meal, the reason, say we've got the dark chocolate in, that's going to be 160 calories. We've got dark chocolate in here, another 160 calories. So the first adjustment I make to the meal plan, say when weight eventually does plateau and stall, and I have to pull 200 calories, all I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the dark chocolate to 12.5 grams and 12.5 grams. All of a sudden I've dropped 160 calories, and that's going to be my first drop. And the biggest thing with that is you will not even notice that in the meal plan. Like, you're not going to notice half a square dark chocolate in your meal. So it makes the change feel like you haven't changed anything at all, really, but it's going to make a big change in order to help you drop body fat, okay? Then the next adjustment you would make, let's say you'd go to a carbohydrate source then with your rice. You could drop the rice down from 90 grams to 60 grams. You could drop the pasta from 100 grams to 50 grams. And then all of a sudden you've got another 200 calorie drop. And it doesn't feel like you're making changes to the meals, because it's not like you're taking out a whole meal. You're just reducing down the portion size slightly. And you're only making small adjustments on a weekly basis, so it doesn't feel like a big drop. So that's why across the course of 8, 10, 12, 16 weeks, the diet doesn't feel like it has changed. The reason why so many people will mess up on their fat loss is because they'll start cutting out meals. They'll start removing carbohydrates from the first week, and then they've got no runway. They've got no cards to play. Think of it as if you're playing a game of cards. I don't really play cards or poker or anything, but I can imagine you're sitting there, you've got a handful of cards, you've got whatever. You don't want to play all your good cards at once. You want to hold them close to your chest and only play them when you need to play them. So that's why this meal plan is designed in that specific way. Now, you can follow this exact meal plan dependent on how many calories you need on to drop body fat. So if you come onto a calorie calculator and you fill in your stats, you find out how many calories you need, you can use this exact meal plan. You just have to adjust the portion size. So let's say if you're at 2,000 calories, you could just drop the oats down a bit more, you could drop the rice down a bit more here, you could drop the pasta down a bit more here, and just bring the calories down slightly depending on where your starting position is. But the main things I'm thinking with a meal plan is it tasty? Yes. Is it enjoyable? Yes. Is it very, very, very simple to follow? Yes. Because if it's not simple to follow, if you don't enjoy it and you can't stick to it, what good is that? There's no point to it, okay? So this is a simple fat loss meal plan. Feel free to copy it, and if you have any questions regarding this meal plan, just shoot me over a message on Instagram at DMC Fitness. I'll pop it up on the screen now, and I'll have my Instagram in the first link in the description. And any questions, just let me know, okay?